There are only a few cities that know how to provide the pleasures of life. This is Miami in all its splendor, and this is the right boat to drive in a place like this, the Wider 42. This boat has two important advantages. 70% of it is made of carbon and 30% of traditional fiberglass, and this makes it very robust and light. The other advantage that also helped to save on weight is that it was built using a vacuum lamination process. This eliminates all the problems related to manual lamination, and you end up with a result that is very compact and resistant, and at the same time, very light. There are other elements that are important to the performance of this boat. For example, the stepped hull at the aft section of the boat that allows air to ventilate the hull, allowing the boat to slide along a cushion of air that reduces resistance with the water. Then there's the surface propulsion system that also helps to reduce resistance, and the boost in efficiency allows the boat, which is powered by two engines of 480 horsepower, to reach a higher performance when compared with boats that are equipped with a different transmission. The design is very original and includes mobile sidewalls that extend outwards on the water, increasing the size of the deck and the stability of the hull when moored. Underneath the sunbed at the bow is a cabin with sofas and a table that transform into a double bed. The bathroom and galley are very modern and elegant. It's possible to choose between two different configurations for the bow, one to house a jet ski, the other with a sunbed and a hanger for the tender. In the center of the steering wheel is a display that shows you the primary functions of the boat, especially its technical equipment. It shows you the flap indicators, the trim indicators, the fuel gauge, and two very important figures to follow. They're the load percentages of both engines, and it's important that these values are as close to each other as possible, because only this way can we achieve that maximum efficiency. We're in America, but the velocity of this Italian boat has been set in knots. I would say that this is the most correct method to use. I still don't understand why the Anglo-Saxons continue to use land measurements at sea, miles, which they also use in races. Personally, I always prefer using the nautical mile, which corresponds to 1/60th of 1 latitudinal degree. One of the most interesting and important characteristics of this boat is the position of the engines. They are staggered, which means they are placed one in front of the other so that the transmission axes can be very close together and the propellers almost touch each other to create a single center of thrust. This enhances the performance. They say that boats with surface propulsion systems are very difficult to use, but this is not necessarily true. I've set the flaps and the trim tabs in a neutral position, at 0, as though they weren't there. Let's see what happens when I suddenly increase the throttle. There's no problem. The boat starts planing relatively easily. Of course, with a steering wheel this advanced, we can completely change the departure settings and become true pilots. This is how it works. First, bring the flaps into a lower position. You just need to press a button that controls them both. Then we'll do the same thing with the surface propulsion system and lower the trim tabs. With these simple adjustments, we will definitely have a more aggressive departure. Let's try it. That's enough now, I'm tired of going slowly. More throttle! With this Formula 1 steering wheel, it's a lot of fun. 48.8 knots, 49 knots. Remember, this is not miles an hour, this is knots. This is the maximum speed of the wider 42. Tilly Antonelli could not have come up with a more original boat. Fulvio De Simoni could not have designed a more functional boat, and Mark Wilson could not have developed a better setup than this. However, is Wider capable of producing something even more spectacular? An even larger boat? Maybe even 150 foot long? We'll see.